Welcome to the Eric Squared Circle show. I'm excited.
We're back.
Kinda. We have hung out in this era of 2020 that is already 10 years long. Just this one year.
A lot.
It's going to be 2030 by the time it gets to be the new year. It's going to be amazing. But we have been giving content, recorded content that is in the cloud. It's all up in the cloud, and we're going to bring it all to you at some point in some breakdown data format. We'll get there. We'll get to that point.
It'll make them laugh. It'll make them cry,
Got all summer. It's hot out there.
Too.
But we stay in the cool when we do this stuff. But we want to get back out to the bars, to get back out to the places we like to be, with the people. Because you are listening to the Eric Squared Circle Show. My name is Eric Brozio. With me always is Eric Robinson, who thankfully for everyone around us, at least people our age, just turned 30. You can no longer say he's in his 20s. I don't care how much he looks like he's in his 20s.
You.
But yes, just had a birthday over the weekend.
I did.
Got a little toasty, but that's okay. That's what it's meant for.
Just a little bit. Everybody had a good time. Hopefully you had a good time.
Yeah, it was all right. It's cool.
Right.
I don't oversell anything. Poker face.
That's fair.
Poker face. Obviously, a lot has gone on in the last few months. A lot of the things in the country have been reopening. Certain states are kind of reclosing because they got a little liberal with their policies, didn't close down early enough, opened it back up too soon. So I don't think that's the issue for us here in Ohio. I think we closed early enough and we waited long enough to stay. And we're, making all kinds of differences. We couldn't stand at all when we went out to dinner and brunch when we went to places, but it's better than nothing. I would say that. I'm just not a mask guy. I don't wear a mask, but we did have to wear a mask in the Uber on the way back. That's no matter what, you're going to be close together. So which will make it feel better.
A little bit more context to the story. So Ian and I were in an Uber Friday night. We did not have masks with us at that point. We'd gotten dropped off and kind of just seeing what the lay of the land was. Uber that we happened to get in, it's just 2 a.m. This guy's basically like, well, I can't take you anywhere if you don't have a mask. And luckily I just happen to have masks for sale for $3. So on top of a $45 Uber, we each paid $3 for a mask. So, thanks a lot, Rona.
Yep. But we needed a ride.
We did.
So again, welcome back to our show here. You can catch us all the time here soon. Hopefully we'll have tons of content we've been bringing out for YouTube and for, just general consumption on Spotify and Apple Music. Obviously, a lot of things we've been talking about mostly when our podcast involves coronavirus and COVID-19, what's going on with that. And it seems to be hopefully on the bends. I mean, in the major cities, it seems to be still kind of midway through what they're trying to deal with, but that's just how it goes. Out here, hopefully we're starting getting on the uptick. And I mean, by uptick, I mean downtick and
flattening the curve.
Cases, flattening the curve. But also we've had serious issues in racial community, in racial injustices in this country. Again, a systemic issue that has been going on for
ever.
I mean, you can go back in terms of the specific justice system. It's been going on for decades and decades.
Hundreds of years.
So, the oppression. I meant specifically, the criminal justice system and how it's been a utilization tactic. Just really terrible. A lot of things are going a different way. A lot of people are, you'd like to say, are rethinking, but might be rethinking just for the sake of public identity. And for example, now after everything that happened with George Floyd in Minnesota, everything that's going on in Louisville and Atlanta, the communities are in a very tense relationship with the police. Sports is a great outlet and a great unifier of people of all races, creeds, and colors and backgrounds, and they just don't have it right now. So you don't have that outlet to be able to find common ground amongst each other. Wrestling is one of those things that I definitely embodies that immensely.
However,
things do get ugly on the inside, on the tracks. Not everybody is peachy keen, A-okay, but it's just addressing these things and at least throwing them out there and addressing them and not hiding them behind is the first step. Just addressing the issue.
For sure. I mean, we're not gonna go through every wrestler accused or every story that's kind of blown up Twitter over
We'll be here
the
all
last few weeks here. Yeah, I mean, there's no point. Rehashing it really doesn't provide any additional value or benefit. But it is unfortunate. Wrestling is I've always kind of seen wrestling as the land of the misfit toys, where no matter what somebody looks like, I always think about people that I pass on the street that I may not normally interact with on a daily basis, just ships passing in the night. But when I think about or see people out that are also wearing wrestling shirts and they look men, women, black, white, brown, Asian, it doesn't matter. Like, you see a lot of we make up a very diverse subset of people, so to do see that in the context of all of the civil rights issues that we're going through right now, and now this layer of speaking out, it really is, it's heartbreaking. A lot of people are affected by this, and action is being taken to swiftly address it and to move on from it. I think both in the real world and in pro wrestling, I would hope that we're able to curb this behavior and begin to take charge and say enough is enough, and just hoping that good comes from this change, because everybody wants to see us advance as a society. So I'm optimistic for sure. And I hope that we begin to see people, I just hope we begin to see real change.
And again, if you're black, brown, Asian, Hispanic,
doesn't matter.
I'm Martian. If you say that wrestling is fake, I'm going to come at you the same way I would if you were white.
Real me, damn it.
It's all about equality and coming together. And for wrestling fans to come together against people who think it's fake and a joke, we'll fight those people. They're all culturally different, and then we are all culturally different. Let's fight about the real issues.
Let's
okay, people.
Let's support each other, I think, is the biggest takeaway. Let's support each other.
Moving on,
but anyway,
we want to talk about just a little bit about the tips of wrestling briefly here. A lot of events a lot of incidences and events in the ring and outside the ring, obviously. It's, kind of touching on the early parts of the week. Raw, gearing up with Extreme Rules coming up, fallout of Backlash. We got a few feuds for McIntyre. What's going on with the women's tag division? Where is Sasha and her goals going to line up with the WWE, obviously, and what we've seen from Extreme Rules so far in terms of the card laid out in 3 weeks, at less than 3 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Let's start with the women's division, specifically the tag team division, because it's not great right now. If we can be perfectly candid, I am thoroughly entertained by Bayley and Sasha simply because we know where it's going. We know that we are getting Bayley Banks. It's just a matter of when. Hopefully SummerSlam, they're holding out hope that this will still be able to take place in Boston with, a crowd subject to social distancing guidelines. But if you have the chance to pull off that money match, why not build towards it? They're doing it at the expense of the women's tag division, just because when you really think about the depth of the roster for people that are in the tag team division, we're looking at Bayley and Banks, Alexa and Nikki. We had the Kabuki Warriors, but they have essentially gone by the wayside since Asuka has found herself now in the main event. The Iconics, which, they're just devoid of talent, and they certainly don't go to NXT as often as they could, because it's a deeper roster there as well that they can put tag teams together. But this division really hasn't taken off the way that I think everybody thought that it could when it was first announced. And now we're 2 weeks away from potentially seeing Bayley and Banks hold both tag team titles, Raw Women's Championship, 2 belts Banks, and Bayley Dose straps. I mean, I don't really know that I want or need to see all of that just to get to that main event, because that underlying tension has always been there, especially because Bayley's made this heel turn and continues to, kind of treat Sasha as second fiddle, even though she's, her bestie and all that stuff. But I just don't think that you need to do that at the expense of the rest of the roster, especially now that we've got this hole that needs, these holes that need to be filled by, because Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are both gone for the foreseeable future. We need to shake some things up a little bit and give some other opportunity where it should be due, but we're just not seeing it, unfortunately. But anyway, as that all pertains to Extreme Rules, we're looking at Asuka and Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship, and we were going to see Bayley and Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's pretty, as far as the blue brand goes, I'm going to go ahead and make my pick now because it's a no-brainer. Bayley's not walking away with that championship anytime soon. I do think that SummerSlam, that title is what'll be up for grabs for Bayley and Sasha. I don't really see them making a switch to Raw anytime soon. Asuka is, that's easy right there. I don't see Sasha winning the Raw Women's Championship. I think, if anything, Bayley accidentally costs her this match. The tag team titles will soon follow, and then we get our 5-star main event at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm not going to make any predictions on Extreme Rules over 2 weeks out. I'm going to go ahead and wait on that. You might be right, but that's in the books right now. You can't change it. Boom. Okay. I think that Extreme Rules could be a card where, it's not Evolution level, but it could be dominated by the women's division, and if they do it correctly, obviously with Universal Championship pre-recorded matches, and then obviously the WWE Champion squash match probably. Let's just say McIntyre is going to squash Ziggler some way. Let's give him 6 minutes. Other than that, you just have the men's tag division. So I think it could definitely be a very women-heavy card, which again, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, and it's an opportunity for them to use it to beef up that division with their 2 biggest stars on the side at this time. And then you can have, obviously, you can switch up cards, switch up pay-per-views that can be heavy for the men, heavy for the women. All women, obviously, will never have an all-men card because that's been done for 30 years, so they can't really do that anymore. But I didn't want them. I wouldn't want them to anyways, but I'm excited to see what they do. Unfortunately, I will be completely transparent to the fans out there. I have discontinued my WWE Network subscription. Not only because not purely because of some of the decisions WWE is making, but purely because the troubleshooting and trying to work through that network is not very clear. I like the way they used to have it, where I can section things out by year and look at it that way. I have no idea how to search for things. Very disappointing.
It's okay.
But I think it's also a learning. I think I need to step away from them. They need to retool their bearings and get some creative gookity bup out there that's actually worth chewing on. So till then, we'll see. We'll see WrestleMania time. We got some time, obviously.
So let me ask you this then. Since we have stepped away, we know that Paul Heyman is no longer in charge of Monday Night Raw at this point. Creative is basically Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard, like it's 1988 again. What we do know is that they are basically booking by the week to try to get back the ratings that they are so desperately losing. I think there was either What Culture or Wrestle Talk. One of the guys said that, Raw was the most consistent that they had seen in weeks. And I don't know that I believe that yet. There's just so much that needs to be done to just kind of jumpstart everything, and phasing in the crowds is a nice touch. However, it's also no secret that allegedly approximately 25 people have tested positive for COVID-19 within WWE, including Renee Young, Kayla Braxton. Jamie Noble also has it, which is most concerning because he is WWE's best producer and spends a lot of time with Vince McMahon. Vince does not see the virus as an issue, but that's Vince for you. I am concerned about kind of the stance that they're taking about the pandemic and not allowing talent to talk about if they've been diagnosed or or anything along those lines. It just seems counterproductive when everybody every other sport is taking precautions and announcing who has it and yeah, I don't know. It just all of that to say that there's a lot other than the creative that kind of needs to be addressed when it comes to kind of fixing WWE at this point, and letting go of talent on Black Wednesday the way that they did. I mean, it feels like a tough rebound for them creatively, but personally, Vince made $100 million over the last 3 months, like personally, and is doing it in a way to is doing it by cutting these costs and making it look appealing to shareholders, as opposed to not laying off your workforce before during times like these. I don't know. I'm very worried about WWE's creative right now, but it's going to be an interesting time until we can kind of get back to the traditional way that we've seen wrestling.
Yeah, and just finishing up at specifically with Raw. I mean, we have another pre-recorded match to add to the collection that we've seen so far in the last few months from AEW and WWE. Best one being the Stadium Stampede match.
By a mile.
But yeah, pretty far. It's really good. It's really good.
Sorry.
It's really good.
It's a great match.
It's the best
It's a great
one.
match. I don't know if it beats Boneyard.
Yes, it does. It absolutely.
I don't think that it does.
It absolutely does. 100%.
What do you guys think out there? Stadium Stampede or Boneyard match? We'll put a poll up on our Facebook page. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check us out. But
anyways, I think you'll be not surprised on that one. Stadium Stampede match, 100% better. Anyways, I'm not saying I'm a country mile, but I'm saying I'm not. Again, Boneyard match was good, but Stadium Stampede match had me cracking up, and it was like
a movie.
Anyways, Swamp match: Bray Wyatt, The Fiend versus the monster of the swamp. Now he's going to be the Swamp Monster, Braun Strowman, Blue Universal Champion. Good. I think you see this being very similar to the Boneyard match. There might be the people for the Fiend that show up. No one's going to show up for Strowman because he always takes on the entire, roster, whatever backups guys they got in the Performance Center. They'll be in a medium swamp. It won't be like the Badlands out there.
Yeah.
They might have a small alligator and go right into its face and make it look like some big alligator that's a 9-footer or something. In reality, it's this 3-foot baby. But I can see fighting in the water. I can see the Fiend going under the water, which seems forever. Because I think they're gonna try and mimic that not mimic it, but they're gonna try and pay not necessarily homage, but they're gonna take elements of that Stampede match and put it into the Swamp match. Bray Wyatt will go under the water for seemingly what'll be forever. Braun Strowman will oh, and then come out as the Fiend or something, and it'll be in the water. They'll probably go into a creepy cabin.
So that is part of why they've teased the return of the voodoo child Bray Wyatt over the last couple of weeks to try to get in Braun's head. What we do know about this match so far, Bray Wyatt does have a lot of involvement in this. Triple H, Jeremy Borash, obviously still. They essentially want to make this a horror movie meets Terminator. So having a lot of Boneyard match elements, but also that mystical Firefly Funhouse vibe that we got from that match on night 2 as well. So it'll be really intriguing.
I think it should be good. I think they're all have been pretty good.
There is one problem with these matches though when it comes to Bray, because in wrestling we're used to seeing a clear-cut winner. And with this being a Universal Championship match, I don't necessarily think that this is the time to take that cinematic kind of non-finish approach and just kind of make it look like Bray won like they did at WrestleMania. I just think if you're going to put, your brand's, top men's championship on the line in a match like this, you got to have a clean finish, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think Braun will win. He might lose the match, but it won't be clean. So, yeah, kind of moving through the rest of the. We're going to skip over to Friday. Skipping over the Wednesday Wars. Just talk briefly on the return of AJ Styles to SmackDown. It seems to be where it's just. I mean, I've never seen a guy come into WWE in the last 4 years. He's been here for over 4 years now. Yep. Flip back and forth between Raw and SmackDown so many times because he's just his presence there maybe gives an extra 10, 20, 30,000 people watching. on that specific program on that night. So he's been on Raw this whole time when he was with the OC. Coming back over to SmackDown now, it seems like.
That's no coincidence, though. The reason that AJ Styles left SmackDown, at least from what we know, is that he was not a fan of working with Paul Heyman, and he did hold Paul Heyman to some degree of responsibility for Gallows and Anderson being part of the Black Friday releases. So that was why the decision was made, and that worked out for the best because we got a match of the year contender between Styles and Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship. So anything that Styles puts his mind to, he's going to do. So who knows? We may see a Blue Universal Championship run for the Phenomenal One.
I think we definitely should. And then we want to talk a little bit. A big thing announced a week and a half ago. The man that buried AJ Styles in the Boneyard match, he buried him in the Boneyard. The Undertaker, the Phenom, has officially announced his retirement after 33 years in the ring. One of the most, influential wrestlers. Obviously, Vince McMahon's favorite guy. It seems like him and John Cena right there. I think he's above John Cena just purely because of he pretty much created him and the streak, everything that goes along with the Undertaker. And watching the beginning parts of the last ride on the WWE Network before I canceled it, his wife is just immensely anxious and stressed out about him wrestling.
Yeah.
I hope this gives her some peace of mind. And
sure,
Miss McCool, we want her to make sure she's all cool. But again, that does not mean we won't see him again. One final match at WrestleMania potentially, or Survivor Series, because he premiered a Survivor Series, correct, all those years ago. So he might finish it in Survivor Series this year. I can't even speculate to who, what, and where, when, who he's going to face. But if he does, make sure he's good to go, and then just lose. And because I thought this all ended when he left his stuff in 2017, April, WrestleMania 33, but he didn't announce his retirement then either. He just left the stuff in there.
Well, the thing was at that time, had that match been a 5-star classic, then that definitely would have been the end for The Undertaker, I think. But the prevailing theme of the last ride has been Undertaker, chasing the dragon to that, ultimate final send-off where everything kind of lines up the way that it should.
Catch me.
And things have not, have not worked out that way, unfortunately. And I mean, everybody knows what's gone on in Saudi Arabia, and then redemption in Extreme Rules, and just kind of that peak and valley effect that you can have especially when you've done something like that so long, as the Undertaker has. And another thing that people are also trying to understand and recognize is that he's essentially lived as the Undertaker for 30 years. And only within the past couple of years have we seen Undertaker start to be okay with adding a little bit of Mark Calloway into the Phenom.
And I know that Mark Calloway or / the Undertaker came on PFT recently, and a Big Cat was just talking then with him about the fact that kayfabe guys broke it all the time, how he reacted to when kayfabe was broken, and he would get pissed. And even though kayfabe was broken in that match at the end of Blood Bash, it was after Hell in a Cell match 94. Yeah. Guys all embraced each other before leaving for
curtain call
before WCW. But Undertaker still just maintained exactly what he was. And then again, it wasn't until recent years. Honestly, it wasn't until really after he got beat by Roman Reigns and was so disappointed in himself for the match itself, has he really started to kind of I'm Mark Calloway as well, but I'm also the Undertaker.
And adding that, because when you've got a wife who Michelle McCool is active on Instagram, and it's no secret that they're married, so it was only going to be a matter of time before we started to see that other layer of the Undertaker and getting hooked up with that social media group he talked about on the last ride. It would have been awesome for Undertaker to be at StarCast, but obviously given what it can be associated with or thought about, that was a big deal. But Taker still at this point has a lot of value left as an ambassador and somebody that can just kind of show up and and be an enforcer or just kind of that brooding dude to back somebody up every once in a while, even if he's not actually stepping into the ring.
So
There's still plenty of ways to use Undertaker, but to that point, last match, if Taker decides he wants to come back for one more when the time is right and potentially in a crowd in a big stadium show, you got to go against Styles one more time. I mean, that has to be your final match because you have the best chance of looking like $1 million and knowing that you can go out with a bang.
Unfortunately, I don't know with COVID going on if Undertaker is even willing to do a last match, because I'm sure he would want to do a last match with the normal crowd there to back him up and then to be able to walk away knowing that everyone was satisfied with what he did, because that did not happen at WrestleMania 33, unfortunately. But they were also thankful to have him in there. So unfortunately, I'm on the side of thinking he is done. Like, he will not get back in the ring ever again. That being said, I think he will be inducted to the Hall of Fame. He will be the biggest inductee. They'll make the biggest show of possible. They'll put this thing on USA. They'll put this thing on any network that'll take it to have the Undertaker inducted. He'll be obviously the headliner of the show, the very final speech, 30 plus minutes at least. I have no clue who would induct him at this point.
Oh, there's really only one answer. It's Vince. Because the way that he said it, as far as, I don't want to necessarily say it because I don't want him to think of a reason not to do it. That is the most Vince thing ever, because he's very particular about the Hall of Fame. He does not even enjoy being thanked, which is why DX mocked that last year. So if I have to guess, it's Vince. That's
he's never done an induction speech or an honorary speech before, so that'd be interesting. I think that would be fitting for him to do something like that.
He has.
And he doesn't have to make the speech super long, though. And who was it before?
His greatest rival, bro.
Stone Cold. Okay, yeah, his greatest rival and his greatest creation. So yeah, that'll be yeah. He won't have to be super brief. It will have to be super brief. I'm sure he'll make it quick.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a well-deserved accolade for Undertaker. I'm really excited to see what it is that we've got in store for him.
And this Wednesday, July 1st, we have night 1 of Fyter Fest on AEW Dynamite, starting at 8 p.m. Night 1. It's going to be a pretty solid night. I'm still can't wait for night 2 on July 8th. You're going to catch this. The WWE's hated rival, even though they won't even admit they exist, AEW has got big shows the next 2 weeks, Fyter Fest, starting tomorrow night, 8 p.m. I'm going to be watching it.
Not to be outdone, NXT and the Great American Bash.
Great American Bash, 2-night event, of course, so it's also 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's just a coincidence that these would be on the same weekend of Fyter Fest.
Well,
but anyways.
No. Here's the kicker, though. So it was announced during Raw last night that Great American Bash is going to be presented with limited commercial interruption. Top that, AEW.
So will Fyter Fest. I bet.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the odds are pretty good. I mean, realistically, but as far as the card for Great American Bash, at least the only 2 matches I know of right now, Roderick Strong taking on Dexter Loomis in NXT's first strap match. We will have a elimination fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship, and we will see Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, and Dakota Kai going at it one more time. I'm sure they're going to steal the show like always. I think the Fyter Fest is going to be the better of the 2 shows, just based on the card that we've seen so far.
Is the TNT title picture? Is that the TNT title on the first night, or that's on the second night as well?
That is on night 1.
We got Cody Rhodes versus Jake Hager and his smoking hot wife. Good Lord.
Easy there, buddy.
They were just that's all him, and him and his wife showed up to the press conference when Cody had his entire entourage there. Gotta love him. Jake Hager, no respect whatsoever. What the hell, man? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so night 1, yes, in addition to the TNT title match, we've got the AEW World Tag Team titles, in which Kenny Omega and Hangman Page are going to take on the best friends. Probably Sans Orange Cassidy at that point, but you never know.
He'll be on the sideline. Yeah.
The AEW Women's World Title is on the line. Hikaru Shida taking on Penelope Ford, probably with Kip Sabian, most likely. Private Party versus Santana and Ortiz, and MJF and Wardlow taking on Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express.
God, I love me some Jurassic Express. You know, I was a huge fan of dinosaurs as a kid. Still kind of am. God, I wanted to be a dinosaur. I didn't actually want to be like, a scientist or anything. I wanted to be a dinosaur, T-Rex specifically. I wanted to eat animals and just like take them to my young, but I didn't want the tiny arms.
You got the little arms, yeah.
I didn't want the tiny arms, but the mouth, it's just, I work with my mouth, like, that's how I am now. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be an excellent night of Fyter Fest. I do want to talk brief. I don't want to do any we do want to do predictions on night 1 of Fyter Fest, not on night 2 though. So I am going to take in the TNT title picture. Is the first one that I take. Cody. Jake Hager is really great. I like him. He's funny, even though he's not trying to be funny. Cody ain't losing this thing.
Yeah, no, I think at this point Cody's kind of set up to be the guy in the mid card, and just kind of with the weight that this championship kind of holds backstage, and the fact that you've named it after the network that you're on. I mean, I don't think there's anyone better than Cody to do the open challenges and continue to do those every week. Hager's going to give him a fight, and it's going to be ugly, but Cody for the win for me here.
Oh yeah. I think we're going to get some good Cody. I do think that in the tag match, since that is going to be night 1, we are going to see a fantastic match, and I think the Best Friends are going to really take a run for their money. Unfortunately for the Best Friends, I believe that they will lose to Hangman and Hangman and Kenny. I always want to say Hangman and Paige. I want to see Kenny and Omega. Yeah. Omega and Paige. Paige and Omega. That sounds good. Paige and Omega. Oh, and I spoke to a little Irkser sidebar for you guys here on the East York Sports Circle, talking to Rob Bicknell, good friend of the show. Still need to have him on. He says that Joey Janela and the Sundance Kid are actually called the Jersey Boys.
Sunny Kiss. Ooh, Jersey Boys. I do like that.
I think their official name is the Jersey Boys. You might want to look that up just to double check. But
yeah, that's better than anything that we came up with. That's way better than anything we.
You mean I came up with?
I came up with some good ones. I don't want to hear that, bro.
All right. Again, help me out here with the rest of the card here. Who's next?
Yes, AEW Women's World Title. Hikaru Shida, Penelope Ford, presumably with Kip Sabian. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. Yeah, and the women's division. I think at this point it makes perfect sense to leave it on Shida. Wait for Britt to get ready. Britt's the next AEW Women's World Champ. She's on fire right now. She is
like physically actually ready. She's just in the box. She can't come out.
No, she's not. No, she's not ready yet.
No. Oh,
because she did. Yeah, because she got pulled from Double or Nothing because of a knee injury. So we're looking at she could be back in time by All Out, maybe at earliest, at the latest probably Full Gear. But I see no reason to take it off of Shida and put it on anybody else than Britt Baker right now.
Yeah, no, it'll stay on her. It'll stay on her.
Next up, Private Party.
4 matches, correct?
There are a total of 5 matches.
Private Party's facing
Santana and Ortiz.
Oh, Santana and Ortiz. And this is just a match. This is just a standard match. Just to get a notch up in the record book for the tag. I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna go Private Party.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Both these matches really are going to have some huge implications for the tag team division, but I do think the Private Party gets the W here. They're on a roll right now. I'm digging everything that Santana and Ortiz are doing, but yeah, I got to give the edge to Private Party here.
And then Jurassic Express is taking on
MJF and
Wardlow. That's right, because MJF faced Wardlow faced and beat Luchasaurus in a cheap match over the weekend or past Wednesday. Got dirty. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jurassic Express since they've been getting the hose. But MJF won't take the pin.
Yeah. Big match for the tag team division.
And it's more important to Jurassic Express, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna have to go with Jurassic Express here. I mean, our MJF and Wardlow are not really a tag team. It's just kind of the single star and his big heater that can go. But no, I think their talents are better spent elsewhere. So yeah, give me Jurassic Express here.
Yeah, and I think that the first night is a good warm up. I think it'll still be. I will check out American Bash on Hulu, since they do have NXT on Hulu
Do you
still. So
want
I
to
can
give
check
your
that out.
predictions for this because it is technically a show and should count towards our year-end totals?
You're gonna have to
We
lead the way there, buddy.
Okay. So first up, we've got NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai taking on Sasha Banks. Io Shirai here for sure gets the W. I think there'll probably be some Bayley involvement, but no reason to take the title off of Io. I mean, to get a
Yeah, I
win
think
against
Sasha's
Sasha,
she's building to
coming
something
off of
else.
beating Charlotte to take the title off of her. I mean, this is huge for Io. Io's probably the second best female wrestler in WWE right now behind Asuka, in my personal opinion. So yeah, Io Shirai by a mile.
Yeah, the bank statement's going for other things right now, and she's got the heat to be able to build someone's run up.
For
She
sure.
doesn't take many losses, so
Yeah,
it'd be good for her opponent. Go ahead, continue, my friend.
Next up, we've got Dexter Loomis taking on Roderick Strong in NXT's first ever strap match. Dexter Loomis has been on absolute fire as of late. He's a big man that can move and has really been a pain in the ass for Undisputed Era, which is something you really don't see very often, especially because I just feel like we're in this weird time right now where Undisputed Era is still equal parts cool, but getting stale at the same time. They haven't really been at full strength. Kyle O'Reilly's still in Canada because COVID. But I've really liked the fact that Dexter Loomis has been able to get under their skin, and moving him over from NXT UK was a huge coup. So
big win for Loomis, new guy.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Strong, and the Undisputed Era is faltering, so they might want to just break him up. Obviously,
sure.
You and I came to the assumption that I came to the assumption Adam Cole might be gone at the end of the summer, but he's confirmed in, so I think he'll be around for a while. Continue, my friend.
Yeah, so anyway, Mia Yim, Tegan Knox, Candice LeRae, and Dakota Kai, fatal 4-way elimination match for the NXT.
I don't even know. I can't even make a prediction on that one.
It's tough because all four of these women have had multiple opportunities at this championship, and none of these matchups would be new here. I'm not confident in this decision, but I think that we're going to see Candice LeRae get another opportunity here. Since she turned heel and cost Ciampa to close out that saga with Johnny. She's really taken on this new edge, and I'm really liking it right now. So
I think
I'm
she
go
deserves that.
LeRae.
She deserves that opportunity.
For sure.
She's been putting her dues. She's taken how many kicks to the face while working up into the WWE and NXT. Yeah, I like to take her as well. I don't know enough about this, but I do like Candice LeRae, and I want to see her come out of this unscathed. And she should be married to me. They should all be married to me.
Moving left and right along. Rhea Ripley will be taking on Aaliyah and Robert Stone in a handicap match. This is pretty cool. I can't say I've really followed this rivalry very closely, but I am a fan of Robert Stone and what they have been trying to do with him and bringing managers back, in NXT, and him alongside with Malcolm Bivens, I'm a fan of as well. But here, I mean, Rhea's getting the W here. I mean, she's easily the most over babyface female that they have right now, and just a pure size and strength matchup. I mean, even if we're looking at Ripley and Stone here, yeah, Rhea Ripley for the win all the way.
Hell yeah, and I think she's still, even though losing it to Charlotte, I think she's still a very formidable opponent.
For sure.
I don't see her dropping it, at this point. I don't have a lot to say about it either, but I know a little bit about her to know that she's pretty good.
For sure.
Pretty fierce.
And last but not least, solid mid-card matchup, ONeill Orkin taking on Timothy Thatcher. this is going to be a real hard hitting match, and this is one that could easily, this could be a dark horse, night one match of the year contender here, or match of night one contender. Excuse me. Lorkin, we haven't really seen a whole lot of singles action out of him, but obviously, being a tag team with Danny Burch, I mean, they're just absolutely incredible. Very tough dudes. So it's going to be very physical, very technical. Same with Timothy Thatcher here. After seeing what Thatcher did to Matt Riddle in their fight pit match to send Riddle off to the blue brand, I'm excited for this one. This is going to be a brawl.
Heck yeah, man. And I really don't have a prediction for that one. Honestly, I want to save it for the next show. Not next show, because it's tomorrow.
Yeah, we will post our full predictions.
Yeah, we'll post
our full predictions on Facebook so that you guys can follow along. As you guys know, we do have a running head-to-head contest here for every pay-per-view / major show. We give our head-to-head predictions, and whoever has the best record at the end of the year will be deemed the Eric Squared Circle champion. But we need a name for this competition. We need a name for this belt. We want to hear from you. We want your ideas, because I thoroughly enjoy whipping Ozio's tail and would like to see myself walk off with whatever sweet prize I decide that I'm going to pick up for the winner of this thing. So, yeah, we want to hear from you. What do you think that a head-to-head matchup like this should be called? And let us know what you think in our comments. And again, thank you for joining us today. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, at EV Esquire, at Schmozio. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and we'll talk to you.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Eric Squared Circle Show. If you liked what you heard, take a quick second to leave us a review, and if it's a 5-star, we'll read it on the air. We really want to hear from you guys, so if you have a question, trivia, interview ideas, or any other suggestions, we want to hear them. Shoot us an email at ericsquaredcircle@gmail.com. And don't forget, you guys are the reason that we do this show. It's the ultimate show by Smarks, for Smarks, so what's not to love? Let's keep the discussion going on Twitter using the hashtag E2SC and join our server on Discord. Last but not least, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you turn on notifications, because you'd be crazy to miss anything it is that we're doing right now.